Hello, welcome or welcome back to another edition of Michelle McKay Yoga. I thought today we would kind of approach arm balances. So it's a little intro to arm balance, a little workshop-y. If you have a couple of blocks, great, or a pillow, because the blocks are going to be used, they can be used underneath your hands, underneath your head, underneath your feet. The arm balance that we're going to do today, we'll attempt to do three, but mostly two. One of them has a hip opening component, and that's the Galavasana, which is like a flying pigeon. And then we'll do Saibakasana, which is side crow. So let's start with our shins crossed. So we'll just do a little hip opening, we'll do some abs, and then we'll approach those arm balances. And maybe we'll even just do straight on Bakasana. So Galavasana, the flying pigeon, has a hip opening component. So we'll start with our shins crossed. And think about getting your inner thighs to go towards your outer thighs. The thing that's tricky about the arm balance is you really want to use your core and try to stay out of your joints, right? So the more you can tap into the core, and of course, if you have that hip opening, it'll be a little bit easier for you for the arm balances. But they're challenging. They're really, really challenging. But if you can figure out how to do them, meaning engaging your core, have the openness of the hips, it can be fun, right? So with your shins crossed, change the crossing of your shins. Starting a little bit later today. So I'm pretty much warmed up. I walked, I did a little bit of yoga earlier, so I'm a bit more warmed up. So I would suggest for this particular video that you do a little bit of a warm up because we're gonna go right into the arm balance. So pause there. You have your shins crossed, and part of the Galavasana is going to kind of look like this. And then a little more hip opening. Take your right ankle over your left knee, and really it's going to look like this. This is the beginnings of the flying pigeon, right? So you've got to thread the needle in the hips. You could lift the butt up and bring your foot to your sitting bone, right? And you have like a little bit of a triangular shape in between the legs. Very much similar to how we sat. And we're sitting in Sukhasana. Stay here for the inhale. And then when you exhale, bring your feet down and change the crossing of the legs. So now with that left outer ankle above the right knee. Again, you could lift your butt up. You could bring your foot towards your sitting bone. And breathe as smoothly and as deeply as you can, in and out through your nose. And think about breathing into your hips, right? You want that openness of the hips. Stay here, inhale. And then when you exhale, bring your feet down. Just kind of scooch the mat a little bit away from the wall. So now you're going to go back to that same side, first side. And you're either going to forklift your leg, so I'm going to call this a forklift, or you can cradle the leg, kind of like a half happy baby, or like a lifted pigeon, right? And so I'm just gently moving my thigh bone, my femur bone in the hip socket, just rocking a little bit side to side, right? If you're really open to the hips, you could probably take your leg over your shoulder. Stay here, inhale. Then when you exhale, straighten out that right leg, draw your left knee in towards you, and either forklift the leg. You could cradle the leg kind of like a happy baby or a lifted pigeon, right? And I'm just swaying a little bit from side to side, keeping the belly engaged. I'm a little bit rounded in my spine. And again, if you have that openness in your hips, you might be able to take your leg over your shoulder, right? And then bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide for Bakasana. Stay here, inhale. And then when you exhale, perhaps fold forward a little bit. As you inhale, lift your heart. As you exhale, bring your knees together. And let's just do a little Navasana. So draw the knees in towards you. Reach your arms forward and flex your wrists. Take an inhale. And now when you exhale, take your legs over to the left. So think about your left upper arm and the right outer thigh touching, resting. So this is like the beginnings of side crow pose. Bakasana. Excuse me, inhale, center. Exhale, change side. So now it's that left outer thigh trying to get pretty high to the right upper arm. Now you're going to inhale, come back to center. Exhale, if the hip flexors will allow it, straighten the legs and reach the arms up to the ceiling. Now pull the belly in like you're trying to move the belly away from your shirt. Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, plant the feet, come to a standing forward fold, right? And then we'll do a little bit more warm up, step back to a downward dog. And see if you can inhale forward to plank. Exhale, back down dog. Plank, good way to wake up the abs. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward plank pose. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, down dog pose. And now this time, inhale forward to plank. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, replace the foot. Exhale, draw the knee to your nose. I'm alternating legs. Inhale. Exhale, right knee in. Inhale. Exhale, left knee in. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, right knee in. Inhale. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, and then exhale, lift the hips up and back, down dog. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. And then see if you can spring your feet lightly forward. Have a seat. Take the legs back up to the ceiling. So just a little more abdominal work. You can bring the hands behind the head to support your head. And then as you inhale, lower the legs any amount. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. A few more like that. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. One more time. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Now reach the arms up towards the toes. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, rock up to boat pose. Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to the ground. And we're going to do what we were doing seated, but we're just going to come into it from a forward fold. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest, come to stand up. Now take your right outer ankle above your left knee. Very similar to how we were doing seated. We're just going to do it standing. Now reach the arms up to the ceiling. Inhale. And then exhale, sit the bottom back. And then bring the hands to prayer. Bring the elbows to the shins. So you can stay right here. This is great. Or bring the hands to the floor or to your blocks, right? So here is where we're going to approach flying pigeon. So now you're going to wrap the right toes around the left upper arm and then place the left knee above the left elbow and see if you can lift up. So that's how you would approach, and then release the foot. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Inhale, lift the chest. And I'll show you from the second side. That's how you would approach the flying pigeon. That's the beginnings of it, right? We'll change sides. Now take your left ankle above your right knee. Reach the arms up to the ceiling. Inhale. And then exhale, sit the butt way, way, way back. Hands to prayer. You could just balance here. You could bring your hands to the floor, use your blocks. So now as you fold, wrap your left foot around your right upper arm. Plant the palms about shoulder width. Lean the weight forward and see if you can pick up your right foot. And so that's how you would approach the flying pigeon. So that's just like the basic mechanics of it. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Inhale, come up to stand up. So you just want to work on being able to lift up. And then as we do more videos, I'll show you the extension of the leg. But this is like an intro to arm balance, an intro to the flying pigeon. Now let's dabble with Saibakasana. So regular Bakasana, you come into a squat, Malasana, and see if you can straighten the arms. And notice that my thighs, they're attached to my ribs. And then as you inhale, lift your heels up. As you exhale, lower your heels down. Notice that my thighs and my ribs stay together. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale as you lower. And then two more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now bring your hands to the floor, straighten your legs. So here's where the blocks come into play. You could use a block in front of you, like if you think your head's going to come to the ground, the head would rest on the block, or that's where you could use the pillow. And then you could also use the blocks underneath your feet. So my toes are on the blocks, but the heels are off. Bend the knees and then see if you can take your knees high to your armpits to the sides of your triceps, and then lean your weight forward and see if you can maybe pick your feet up, right? So that's how you start it. See if you can pick the feet up, and then maybe you bring the heels towards the sitting bones, right? So that's dabbling, moving towards Bakasana. That's how you would approach it, right? Using the block. So now we'll dabble with Saibakasana. So I know it's very workshopy, it's not very flowy, but it's an introduction to arm balances. So for Saibakasana, you might start with the outer leg resting on both upper arms. But as you become more proficient, you're just gonna try to get that leg to one arm, right? So come back to that squat. I'll scooch back a little bit. Bring your hands forward. So your fingertips are pointing towards your device. So now I'm really trying to get the left outer thigh to come high to that right outer arm. So here's what it looks like with the thighs on both elbows, right? So you lean and you lift your feet, right? And then maybe I'll show you better from this side. Heels are lifted. My fingers are pointing towards the device. My arms are going to be framing my left outer thigh. And then I lean to lift the feet up, right? And then eventually you just go to one arm, right? So pivot on the feet. See if you can just hook. So just that one arm has got the feet. Do you see that? So I just got my left upper arm and my legs are resting just on one arm. And that's how you dabble with approaching the arm balance. And then come to a forward fold. That can be a lot on the wrists. Slide your hands underneath your feet. Take an inhale. And then exhale, fold. Let your feet massage your hands. Breathe smoothly, deeply in and out through your nose. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, release your hands from underneath your feet. Have a seat, sit with your shins crossed. Bring your hands together at your heart and then flip the palms so that the backs of the hands are touching and your fingertips are pointing to the ground. And then roll the wrists. Reverse the direction of that roll. Maybe take one hand and hold on to the fingertips as you release the wrist in the opposite direction, then change the hands, right? And then one more time, make circles with the wrists, and as if you were throwing confetti, open the palms, close the palms, or as if you were making jazz hands. And then just pause, recenter yourself. So this video is just an introduction to arm balances, right? We dabbled a little bit with the flying pigeon, we dabbled a little bit with Bakasana crow, and we dabbled a little bit with side crow pose, right? So just remember that when you're doing arm balances, it's important to be a little bit warmed up, of course, engage your abdomen, and try not to sink into the joints. I'll do more videos like this going forward, but this was just the intro to arm balances. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to put that in the chat so that I can respond. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. And join me every Saturday on YouTube live. Sundays, YogaWorks live stream live. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste. Peace out, yogis. And ciao for now.